Have you ever noticed how weird money feels at certain numbers?
Like, you look at your bank account and it says $1,842, and your brain immediately goes, okay, so basically I'm broke.
Not technically broke. You can still eat, you can still pay rent, but emotionally? Yeah, broke. And then you think about needing $10,000. $10,000 feels huge, heavy, like a wall. You imagine saving it, and suddenly your brain starts doing math you didn't ask for. And you feel tired already. And instead of panic, your brain goes, not easy exactly, but possible. And that makes no sense, because $100,000 is literally 10 times harder than $10,000, at least mathematically. So why doesn't it feel that way? Why does $10,000 feel like this massive, suffocating mountain, while $100,000 feels like something people just stumble into? Honestly, this question messed with me for a long time. I'd catch myself thinking about money way more than I probably should. Why some people seem permanently stuck stressing over small amounts, while others talk about bigger numbers with this strange calm. My name's Bean, by the way, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, human psychology, and why our brains act completely irrational the moment dollars get involved. And once you see what's actually going on here, like the real reason this happens, you can't unsee it. It changes how you think about earning, saving, and even what goals you aim for in the first place. So yeah, this isn't really about $10,000 or $100,000. It's about how your brain secretly decides what's hard and what's easy, and how that decision might be the very thing holding you back. Let's talk about it. Here's something nobody really tells you. Small money goals feel heavy because they're personal. $10,000 usually isn't abstract. It's rent. It's debt. It's the emergency fund you should have by now. It's the thing you feel behind on. When you think about $10,000, your brain doesn't see a number. It sees responsibility, pressure, expectations, all the stuff you think you should have handled already. And that's exhausting. I remember a time when I was trying to save my first real emergency fund. Every paycheck felt like a tiny negotiation with myself. Every dollar had a job. Every decision felt moral. Saving felt like deprivation. And that's the key thing. $10,000 lives in your day-to-day life. You feel it every time you say no to something. You feel it when your friends spend money more freely than you. You feel it when your car makes a noise you don't recognize. So earning or saving $10,000 doesn't feel like progress. It feels like survival. Why this matters to you? Because when money feels like survival, your brain goes into scarcity mode. And scarcity mode is terrible at long-term thinking. Actionable takeaway here? If your financial goal feels heavy and draining, ask yourself, is this goal tied to fear or freedom? Now let's flip it. Why does $100,000 feel lighter? Because it's impersonal. Most people don't think of $100,000 as grocery money. They think of it as business revenue, investments, big picture stuff. There's emotional distance. You're not imagining yourself clipping coupons to get there. You're imagining leverage, systems, scale, growth. When someone says they made $100,000, you don't picture their daily expenses. You picture momentum. And momentum feels exciting. I've noticed this weird shift in conversations too. When people talk about small money, their voice drops. When they talk about big money, they get animated. They sit up straighter. They talk faster. It's like their brain switches from defense to offense. Why it matters? Your emotional relationship with the number determines how motivated you feel pursuing it. Actionable takeaway? Start framing your financial goals in systems, not sacrifices. This is where things get really important. $10,000 usually comes from linear effort. Work more hours, cut expenses, save a bit at a time. Your input is directly tied to output. $100,000 almost never is. That kind of money usually comes from leverage, a business, a scalable skill, an audience, an investment. You do something once and it keeps paying you. That's why your brain doesn't panic as much. Somewhere deep down, it knows that $100,000 isn't about working 10 times harder. It's about working differently. I used to think people who talked about leverage were just being dramatic, But the moment I built even a tiny system, something that paid me without direct effort every time, it rewired how money felt. Why it matters? If all your money comes from linear effort, your goals will always feel heavy. Here's an uncomfortable truth. $10,000 challenges your current identity. $100,000 doesn't. Most people already see themselves as someone who should have $10,000, so not having it feels like failure. But $100,000? Entrepreneurs, investors. So there's less shame attached, and shame is heavy. I've caught myself procrastinating on small financial tasks, not because they were hard, but because they forced me to confront how behind I felt. Big goals don't do that. They let you dream without judgment. Why it matters? Your identity can quietly sabotage realistic goals. If yes, that's the real obstacle. Another reason $10,000 feels harder? You see every step, every saved dollar, every expense avoided, every slow, painful inch forward. But $100,000 usually arrives invisibly, in chunks, through results, not restraint. You don't watch it grow dollar by dollar, so it doesn't feel as draining. This is why people burn out saving, but stay energized building. Why it matters? Visible effort feels harder than invisible progress. Actionable takeaway: automate what you can. Hide progress from yourself if needed. Less visibility, less emotional fatigue. $10,000 often feels urgent. Urgency compresses your thinking. It makes everything feel tight. $100,000 feels expansive. Expansion opens your thinking. Your brain prefers expansion. Why it matters. Urgency kills creativity. Creativity creates income. The answer usually isn't discipline. It's framing. And that's good news because framing is changeable. So yeah, $100,000 isn't easier than $10,000 in real life. But it feels easier because it lives in a different mental world. One is about survival. The other is about growth. The other is permission to think bigger without judging yourself. And once you understand that, you can start designing your financial goals to work with your brain instead of constantly fighting it. You don't need to suddenly chase huge numbers. You don't need to become a different person overnight. You just need to stop letting small, emotionally heavy goals drain all your energy before you even start. Build systems. Create distance from shame. Think in leverage, not deprivation. And most importantly, be a little kinder to yourself about where you are right now. Money is hard enough without turning every dollar into a judgment on your worth. And if you can shift that, even just a little, you might be surprised how much lighter everything starts to feel.